guys, good morning. It feels like it's been a long little while, however I feel like it's just been one upload which I've missed, which I'm doing a little bit frequently at the moment just because things are so hectic, but I feel like that might be changing now. Hopefully I'll explain a little bit with that. I thought I'd have a little catch up this morning and show you everything that's been going on. I feel like a lot has been going on. We've been working on the upstairs, we've been moving forward quite a bit with the extension, and I just needed a little bit of time to get my head down because pretty much basically just to book in all of the trade so that we could do the little bit of jobs in between, because trade are obviously booking out quite far in advance. More on that later. I thought I'd start with little one, and I know like baby is not always relevant to everybody and renovations, but it's such a big part of our life at the moment and kind of explains where I've been. Little one is 9 months now, absolute light of my life. He is the cutest thing. I just adore being with him. I feel like every month I'm like, this is the best month. He's becoming more and more my like best little buddy. He's just so cute. But at the same time, motherhood obviously comes with parenthood. It comes with so many challenges, so much trial and error. And for us, a lot of sleepless nights. We weren't blessed with a beautiful sleeper from the beginning. Though to be honest, I feel like on the scale of good and terrible, like Teddy was maybe somewhere in the middle, like maybe a little bit towards terrible, but he very recently went through an 8-month regression. If you haven't had a baby before, like babies go through these sleep regressions and it is brutal. Like all of a sudden they're just like up all of the time. And Teddy never really slept past 3 hours in his life. So for 9 months I've been getting up, soothing him, feeding him for pretty much every 2 to 3 hours in the night. And honestly, I've been so surprised how I did it and managed. Didn't really feel like I needed a nap during the day. Your body clock just seems to adjust. And though I'm pretty sure that the sleep deprivation is like somewhere deep down in there and it will hit me at some stage, probably definitely aging with it too. But I got to the point where I was like, maybe it's time with like the thought on the sleep, and also just Teddy's a very busy baby, and as a lot of you may know, I have breastfed him, which was the most beautiful journey and something I'm so thankful that I've been able to do. But he was so distracted, he was looking around, he was moving around. It was really like starting to get, I never minded like breastfeeding in public, but it was just starting to get really difficult because he was there like jumping up and down. Like it got to a point where I was like, I think maybe we're both ready to like ease off on this, and that is just a challenge in itself. I had no idea how to do that, if I'm really honest. I knew that it might like affect my hormones and even just like my body physically, and we'd never like use bottles, so I had no idea like what formula to buy and all of that. It's like another realm that we had to like enter into. I went back and forth as to whether to do it because he's now 9 months and he only had like, this only continues until 12 months. So much second guessing, but I've now decided to do combi feeding. So the breastfeeding is like just like a nice little top up, but not a soothe to sleep. And thankfully, cutting a long story short, thankfully it's gone really well. Teddy absolutely adores his food. His milk has taken to a bottle like an absolute champ. And with that whole realm, we've stopped feeding or like comforting, feeding him to sleep, and we're getting longer stretches of sleep. So that is just like a real success all in all. But honestly, it also hasn't been the easiest journey, probably because I'm just like that kind of mum that like really second guess, like, am I doing the right thing? And is this gonna make life harder? Will he not like it? Will he not be happy? But he's absolutely fine. I was just giving myself a hard time. And then another plus to all of that with little one is that I couldn't really have anybody look after him because he needed me for everything. He needed me for food, he needed me for comforting to sleep, and they're two big things with a baby. And if you can't do those, you only really have a few hours to yourself. And I thought maybe it was time that I started really slowly easing off, because this is something I didn't want to like suddenly do, just be like, oh, here you are, go off with granny and have a bottle. I wanted to like slowly ease him in. So I'm still comforting him to sleep, but in a different way, just by shushing and patting, something that somebody else can also do. And then they can obviously also feed him, which is very important. That whole thing, even though like we don't have family like really close who look after him, it's just like been a little bit of a weight off of my shoulders slightly. Like, Ollie can take him out for a day. The thought of that feels really exciting, and he'll probably never do it, but it's just like a nice thought that it can happen now. I know so many people do this so much younger with babies. I'm sure, like, if we're lucky enough to have a second, I'll probably like work up the confidence to do it much sooner. But there's that. There's like, maybe this is a little bit of time of me being able to get back myself a little bit. Then there's the renovations. I'm going to show you the upstairs. It's pretty much open plan up there now. We've been doing a lot more gutting, but I haven't filmed it. I've got like some little phone snippets which I'll show when we go up there, but you obviously saw us do the majority of the gutting, and it is very much the same, just like rubble coming down, bricks coming down, wiring coming down, a lot of mess, a lot of dust. We're there now with all of the stripping out, and we're just about to start putting it back together, so those videos will be coming back now. So we're going to be putting the walls back. We think we have narrowed down some decisions on the windows. We've basically found two companies. One where we'll order our PVC, which is the last company that we ordered the PVC, and another company that we're going back to. I don't know if you guys remember, we had some wooden windows done on the top floor, and we're seeing that if we get more of a bulk, whether we can get a reduction. So he's actually coming back in on Thursday. I've also finished the design for the bathroom as far as like tiles and colouring, and it's not quite what I said and thought that I would go for. I've kind of mixed the two original mood boards that I had. I'll put up the mood board that I'm now thinking of. I thought that I might go fun with tiles, but I'm actually keeping the tiles really neutral and really easy so that the whole scheme can be changed up a little bit. And I'm gonna go for pink. I was gonna go for green, and then Ollie said something and I was like, okay, now that you've said that I can't. He was like, you always go for green, and I was like, yeah, I do. I love green, but maybe it is time for a change. So we're doing pink. I'm gonna show you actually, because I've got a fabric swatch come in that I think I'm gonna do for the blind. And today what I want to do is paint some paint pots that I picked up, because we did a very exciting prep, which I'm going to talk about next. But I picked up a load of pink paints from Farrow & Ball, kind of like not intense. I've got setting plaster, sulking rum pink, which is a little bit of a deeper pink, pink ground, dead salmon, which doesn't exactly sound that appealing, does it? And Templeton pink. So I'm hoping to go for, on the outside, a bit of a blue. So the fabric has like a blue, a green and a pink. So I'm going to paint the walls pink. I've also ordered, I need to unbox it, I've ordered a fun mirror. So I'm going to go fun with all of the accessories and the paint in that room. I've ordered like a squiggly mirror from John Lewis, which has like a lovely green squiggle. I'll show you that in a bit. And maybe some more fun shades. I've been looking at some striped ones, and a bin, which I might DIY like a cool stripe on. So the bathroom is really getting there now. I also mentioned in the first renovation video that I was hopeful that a tradesman was coming in, and he said that you could do it in 2 weeks and maybe he'd be able to do it. Well, his quote came in, and actually, like, in a way, for 2 weeks and doing everything, I don't think it was unreasonable. It was £10,000, but we still can't afford it. So as much as I would have absolutely adored that, we're doing it the way that we always do it. We're going to be doing the majority of the work, getting in a plumber, electrician. And the walls, I don't think I mentioned this, the walls we're not going to plaster. So we're going to plaster, we're going to board ourselves the ceiling, then get somebody in to skim it, and then the walls we're actually going to be doing fully in paneling. The same paneling that we got upstairs is not cheap to do. So we also did paneling in our ensuite, but this is the top floor. It's more of like a shiplap effect. I'll link the company that we went with below. I think it's called like the English Paneling Company, and they do the paneling in big sheets, floor to ceiling, which means that we will also be able to do the walls. I'm not actually sure whether it would be more cost effective, because the paneling is an expense in itself. I hope you got yourself a drink or you're settled somewhere nice, because now I'm gonna keep going about the extension, which maybe you're able to see, this lights me up a little bit. You know when you have something playing on your mind, or you just have something going on and you don't appreciate how much it's stressing you out until it's solved, and then when it's solved you have this like moment where you just feel so good about it. Well, that is how I feel about this. We have found a builder for our extension, and I mean, we haven't officially signed on the dotted line. I'm not even sure if you do that, but I feel really good about it. They were basically the ones that linked us with the QS. So when we initially spoke to these builders, they were like, we need to get QS in. There was like a little bit of miscommunication there, which I know isn't great, but I think it was more on our part. The QS has done that really detailed quote, which helped us out so much anyway, and the builders are basically like, yeah, that is exactly what the price will be. It comes kind of within our realm, but they are also happy to work to a first fix, so just getting it up like watertight, plastered, that kind of thing. Although the quote does actually include things like a kitchen, but I don't know how they do that because I mean every kitchen is so different. That's another realm that we are about to talk about. So those builders can actually, did I say they can do next spring, which just seems like March was kind of like thrown around as a timescale, which is 6 months away, and now I'm really dreaming about the fact that next summer, like next late summer, we might be sat in here, the extension, enjoying the garden and putting plants back in the garden and decorating inside. Just will be so amazing. And they actually, because it's actually part of the quote and part of the job, is taking down the chimney breast, which is in the kitchen, and also up in this bit that we're doing just above here, which is the bedroom and the bathroom, kind of calling it like the family area project up there. Taking down that chimney through the area is part of the big extension quote, and we've asked them if they can kind of fit that in a bit earlier so that we can get going with that project, which they were happy with and they think they can fit us in. So it all just seemed to be like, ah, tick, 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 finally maybe things are going to be moving forward. And then with that, we're starting to think about obviously all the things that go in. A big part of the design and what I wanted to figure out was how the kitchen sat in the room. Just very quickly before we go through planning, because to go through planning we need to know where the skylights go, and I want the skylights to be positioned in the room really purposefully. So we're thinking of having one run down kind of like where our alleyway would be, and then one at the end here, and also one which will go into what we're calling like the multifunctional room, bit of a playroom, dining room. Hopefully I'll be able to put this up on screen, but we don't actually have a design yet of what we think the final thing with all the kitchen and stuff be included. Now, we mentioned before that we were going to go to Neptune, and you actually have to pay for their kitchen design service. I can't remember now, but I think it's between the £200 to £300 mark. And we thought, look, you know, it's our dream kitchen brand. Let's see what kitchen they would create in our space. We won't be able to afford a Neptune kitchen, but I would recommend thinking about doing this service because we are hoping to go for a brand, maybe DIY Kitchens, or there's also one called Painted Kitchens, I think, and they're more of a bespoke, like do-it-yourself service, and that seems quite overwhelming. But if you've already gone to other companies, we did pay them for their time. Some you don't have to. Some of the like kind of like Wren, Howdens, that kind of realm. We are going to be going to some other, this isn't just the only kitchen design that we're going to get. We're going to be going to a few, but it just gives such a lovely idea of what you can do in the space. And the nice thing with Neptune is that she actually took into account the whole space itself, and she showed us that in person, but she didn't show us that in this book, or for me to be able to show you, unfortunately. But she did do the whole run. So what I mean is she did the dining table, and she also did like a sofa snug area at the back, so we could see how the kitchen kind of went with the whole space. And obviously a company like Neptune can help with that, or can like give ideas with that, because they also do furniture too, not just kitchens. I think I'm actually just going to show you this instead of you having to look at my face. Here we go. So this is like you're looking from the snug back through the kitchen. And initially I really wasn't sure about this design. It was quite different to what I was anticipating, because in most kind of Victorian side return extensions, they have the cooker along here and maybe the sink in the middle. But in this design, the designer put the cooker, the range at the end as like a focal point in a chimney breast type thing, which is something that we did request. I love the idea of it being like a cozy nook almost. Now initially I thought, oh, I don't know, like having the cooker right as you walk in, but it's grown on me so much because I love the middle focal point in the room. And most of the time when you're like chopping, preparing, you'll be stood here, which is the island just behind, looking out to all of your guests. The only thing that we think will definitely change is this will be going into the general kind of multi-purpose room. and this is going out to the hallway. And the hallway leads into like the biggest bit of traffic from. Now she didn't put these cupboards on this side because there's a double door here, but we're actually thinking now if we do go for this type of design with the cooker in the middle, that it would be nicer to have the main kitchen on the other side and only have a single door here, which mimics the other side. So imagine this sink now running down here. 2 doors looking exactly the same there. And then also some kitchen space going on this side, because right now it's like a little bit lopsided. The kitchen is only on this side, and on this side she has put some little shelves for photos and stuff. But this item here is more in the dining room. So let me see if I can show you a bit more of the kitchen. So this is like the view. This is the view. So you'd come in the door. This would be the cooker with the hood. Loads of drawers over here on the island. Lovely 4 seats. So those drawers would be those ones there. She really thought all of this through, which I loved. We have 2 bins, chopping boards, so when you're chopping, preparing here on the island, you've both got a bin to be able to put in, and then another set of lovely drawers. This will be the end wall with the cooker, and what started to convince me a bit more about this is actually the amount of space that we had there. I thought that it would look really like small and just like popped in, but that's quite a big size range. And then you also can have drawers, and we can have cupboards there, which she said was saying that you can have oils and spices. She even said about putting a little drawer in the back here so that, you know, you can still keep all of the surface space to the side if you want to. And then you can see here how much the cupboard, so that would be the fridge there. But imagine that on that side with the doors mimicking, as I said, like that. So it would be completely symmetrical at the end. And then this is the elevation of the kitchen area. She actually said when we talked through, she would swap this. So we've got a full long fridge, a long freezer, and then we've got 2 which are like almost larder storage things. So this is like a big open larder that you can open up with drawers. And then this one too, she said you can use more for like food storage, or equally one could be for coffees and teas and like the coffee maker, and then the other one could be more for like actual food, like your onions and your potatoes and that kind of thing. Don't know if you can notice from here, but we've got a sink with 2 dishwashers. Yeah, she suggested 2 dishwashers. So a full-size dishwasher and then a half dishwasher, so that if, you know, we are entertaining and there's a huge amount of glasses or big pots and pans, you can put all the big pots and pans in this one and then all the glasses in that one. I did quite like that idea, I have to be honest. And then there's the bird's eye view of the kitchen area. It definitely gives us absolutely enough space, enough storage with all these gorgeous drawers here and here. And then I think these 2 like pantry type things would work so well. We've got 2 pull-out pantries at the moment, which are much smaller, like slim little ones, and they fit so much in for us. But we can't help but feel like if we've got the space, it would be lovely to take away that door, make it a single, put that side of the kitchen over here. So you initially, when you're going through from the hallway, you're always walking in, and the main kitchen, the main triangle is here. She's like, put the main triangle over here. And then this side can just be additional storage, even just display, so like lower cabinets and shelves at the top. I'm not quite sure. We have gone back to her and asked if she would be able to flip that over for us and what she would suggest to put on that side. Over here, as I said, we don't have the rest of the design, but she had a dining table in the middle with a console type thing here, and then down the end another unit for the TV, and then an L-shaped sofa. She actually put an L-shaped sofa over here, which was interesting because I always thought that was just having 2 sofas either side. I'll just flick through and just show you how it's all presented. It's so lovely to have it in a book, and it's really given me so many beautiful ideas about the kitchen and how the space can come together, specifically the picture, like kind of like watercolor at the end, where you can see the whole open plan space together. So we'd have, I think, a spotlight over this, down this run, and then over here too. I have actually put this in floor planner, maybe I'll pop it up, but it's a very quick crass design at the moment just to chuck things around, but let me know, what do you guys think about the cooker being here? I actually quite like it. The more that I think about it, the kind of chimney breast, that's like originally kind of where it would have been, so it makes sense in the room. To put like a cooker hood over here where a spotlight, a skylight, sorry, would be, kind of doesn't make sense. My initial, like when I first initially saw it, I thought, oh, like that's a bit of a shame, because you're really tying most of the work of the kitchen right up this end of the room. Whereas if you had the cooker over here, for example, but on the other side, so a lot of people have the cooker here and the sink here, I'll insert a picture, you're much more in the middle of the room, and like if the kids are playing just here, say, you can just like look to the side. But then I was like, oh, I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking the whole having it in the middle space, because you're still here at the sink, you're still mulling around these areas, and actually is it quite nice that you're just there cooking with the hot food when the kids can be here, that type of thing. And I've actually managed to talk to you for the entirety of Teddy's first nap. I mean, I did make a drink and put the washing on and things like that, so I don't think it was the whole time, but I've been talking quite enough. I'm gonna go and get him up, and then later I will show you the upstairs and we'll do the paint swatches, and I'll get out the mirror. I'm up in the renovation zone. Maybe I'm tipping it down outside because we basically can't close this beautiful window we have here, which is just tied up with a bin bag. I'm not even sure if you can tell where I am in the space, but this is the chimney. I'm basically stood in the middle of the wall. We have actually made it open plan now, and it is just crazy to see the space like this, but I can actually start to imagine it now, which is quite nice. Let me show you from basically the front door. The only bit that pretty much still remains is this poor tank in here. So this is where we've been coming in. This tank, which still does have a little bit of a roof on it, and then we're open completely, apart from pretty much the chimney. So if you remember, there used to be a door at the end there with a toilet, which is gone. This is going to be where you walk in for the bathroom, if you remember, like bath, and up until about this point is where the new wall for the bathroom is going to be going. And then you can really see this is the whole space that we're going to gain back, because we've been talking about making a much nicer bedroom because we took away the bedroom from our ensuite, and previously in the house this little dark room, which we're putting as the bathroom, would have been a bedroom, which I think is a bit sad. It looked out onto a brick wall, but they must have had to have done it because back in the day all of the plumbing they felt like had to go out the back here. We actually have the plumbing already in from our ensuite. Yeah, it still might be a bit tricky, you can't see it. So our ensuite window is the one that you see there, and if you can see the pipe coming below, that is the waste where we're going to be putting in this bathroom here. So it runs basically where you saw it down there and then down through here. But back to the toilet. So then you used to walk through here, you can actually see the old toilet floor there, and there was a wall along here and a door into the bathroom, which is no longer a bathroom. So we had a little cupboard there, and annoyingly we do have these pipes. It's just the way that we've renovated, this is going to have to happen. So they were the old bath, which we then turned into a shower. So we had the basin, if you remember, we had the basin here, nice little picture, and then the bath was along here, but now this just goes back all the way through. So I'm stood where that wall would be, and I actually had to keep a few newspapers which we found. £150 cash prize for dog snacks. That probably would have been quite a bit back then. Also, cooking becomes a delight. It's so sweet. I wish that they were whole newspapers, but I just wanted to have a little nosy at them. I don't know if you noticed as well, when I came in here, this one, which actually would be such a gorgeous plant. I'm trying to convince Ollie to keep it, and I tried to convince him not to cut it up too much. But it would have been the old water tank, and we're pretty sure that it is definitely original, simply because it was on these two beams, joists in the house, and they were a different size on this piece of wood. So the water tank, I'm presuming, would have always sat there, basically, because else why would they have had those to support it? We can also see now a little bit what this room will look like with having 3 lovely windows within the space. And what I was going to say with these, which is a bit of a pain, is that when we took all of the rest of this down, we discovered the fact that this ceiling and the hallway ceiling is actually higher than the ceiling in the bathroom. So I don't know if you can quite tell there. No, it's very hard to tell, but it was a lot lower. And so Ollie has taken down, or he is taking down, all of the joists. So there were obviously also joists here, which he's now taken down because we want to lift it back up again, because this will all be one room, because of the way that we're configuring it. We obviously can't have the ceiling being lower like here and then jump it. Oh, I mean, I guess maybe you could. But that has been like our first little hurdle that we've come across, is kind of like unfortunately having to do all of the ceiling again. And with that, we've actually also decided that we're going to redo the roof in this room, which will be the bathroom, because Ollie thinks it's going to be a quick job, but I'm like, oh gosh, will it actually be? Because you know that I do love some seasonal decor. We have quite a lot of boxes up in our, what I'll call the 5th bedroom, and we do have an attic space that we want to support so that we can put storage in it. So these Victorian houses won't have support. People do put things up in the attic, but they don't really have the support to take any weight. So we've decided that what we'll do is we'll make this attic as well able to take quite a bit of storage, and then at least maybe when we renovate, if we haven't done the top attic, we will have this attic. Long-term plan will be maybe that this roof space, which might not seem huge, but it is quite big, it's all of that there. This will obviously come down and then it'll go all the way over to the back here. This will be all of our seasonal storage. So this will be like Christmas, Halloween, Easter, although mostly Christmas to be honest, but Christmas should quite easily fit in here. You can see also now our boiler. So that's where our boiler is, with all of our pipes running through, which is why we have these pipes here also. They are going to the boiler. So yeah, just a little bit of work in here. I'm gonna get out now because it is pretty dusty. I always laugh when I turn around and look this way, because this is what I was saying at the beginning. We still have this weird little corner that is staying and actually looks quite nice because it's fast. It looks quite nice, well, you know, it looks clean in comparison to the rest of the space. That little bit there. The dining room has become our wood storeroom. As you can see, this was most of the stuff that was upstairs, but I have actually had a delivery just this morning, actually of all of the other bits that we need. I really don't know where all of this is going to go. So I don't think this is for the ceiling. I think this is all the walls. So I think Ollie's doing this for the wall studs. I could be wrong. And then also up the stairs, because it's a struggle to know where to put it. Aqua panel is now also in for the shower. Random. This is a family piece that my mum and dad brought round that just shows you the dust. And I need to get that upstairs, dust it down. This is the wooden Audi toy event. I didn't know how crazy it was until I had kids, but managed to pick up, I was hoping for the kitchen, but I managed to pick up the fridge, which I think he will love because he loves opening and shutting things at the moment. I need to get some like fruit and veggies and stuff to go in there. Sorry, that was my knees. And then I also got the car, the cleaning set, and the kettle and mug set. But these are all going to be put away for Christmas. Our top room, which is like a storage room, is just going to be turning into like a Christmas storage, like holding all of that. I'm not planning on getting in much because he'll be pretty much one. Don't think he needs a lot. But this is what I wanted to open. So this is a mirror. Looking at it now, I feel like it's a little bit big. I think there's like a bit of packaging, hopefully. Every time that I've bought things in advance for a room, it's actually never really paid off by the time that I get to finishing the space. I always wish that I just waited. However, with a mirror, it's really difficult to wait if you're wanting to do lights either side, because obviously you can just say like, oh, we're gonna have a mirror that's gonna be 60 by 90, but then it doesn't give you a huge amount of choice, especially if then you decide to go for a random oval one, which is wiggly. It's the perfect green I was hoping for. It's difficult to show you with it being a mirror, but it's got the cute little wiggly line. And I'll show you the fabric now, and then I'm gonna do the paint samples. lighting in here isn't the best because it's obviously a room that's painted quite dark. But immediately I knew with the pink samples, you can see the big ones are the ones that I'm more hopeful for. As soon as I opened this one, I knew it was too much of a baby pink. And then this one here was also too dark. This is the fabric that I am considering. It's obviously like quite a small swatch of it, but I loved that it had like a variety of colors. So it's got the pink, it's got like a grey green, and it's also got a blue. And I really wanted to pull those out in the room. To be honest, I think setting plaster is the one that I'm leaning to the most at the moment. Really hoping that this mirror works now. I also have a bit of a dilemma in that the floor tile that I want is on a bit of a long lead time, but I'll figure all of that out. I've run upstairs because I have more deliveries. I'm very excited to talk about this, but I'm not going to start talking about the C word just yet, though I am on the 1 month till the decorations go up timeline, and I just can't kind of believe that, and I thought I'd show you because things do sell out quite quickly, and by the time I get round to showing you when I'm like wrapping the presents, for example, there isn't time for you to be able to order things yourselves either. But I got in this. I was trying to look for a very sweet wrapping paper that I could have for Teddy that I could put under the tree, and that wasn't like too garish. Obviously this year he's not going to know, he's not going to be able to tell me like, Mum, I want Peppa Pig on it, so I can still choose. So I got this one, which is 12 Days of Christmas, and it's by a lady, I think she's called Katie Lehman, and this was a collaboration with Lily and Lionel, which I believe are a clothing brand. And it's got the little script over it. 5 gold rings, 2 turtle doves. Anyway, I'm going to stop singing the Christmas song now. But it's so sweet, and it's also reversible. And it's got the gorgeous kind of like burgundy check on the background. I've got other bits, but I won't show. I've got the green wrapping to go with it from Layered Lounge, and may have been getting in some sweet little Christmas bits too. Okay, I just can't resist. I can't resist. And Otto has a Christmas book. Didn't even know it, but I had to get it. So yes, anyway, this is where I'm stockpiling all of that stuff. I'm very much looking forward to the Christmas content. I'm gonna be here for the Christmas content this year. Don't worry, I know this year has been, as I was explaining in this video, a little bit up and down, but I'm more prepared this year than ever. So maybe even some weeks there'll be more than one video, but yes, I'm gonna sign off this one here because I know it's been a super chatty one, but I kind of just wanted to touch base with you guys. I know usually we're all doing absolutely fine. It's so sweet when some of you check in, but it's just life, the days go so quickly, and I'm really trying to enjoy those mum days with a baby because they are so fleeting. I definitely know that already at the rate that he is growing. I will check in with you guys next week. I hope you're all well and enjoying the start of autumn, kind of like settling down, getting a little bit cozy, and also just a big thank you for sticking with me. Hopefully I will see you next week.